Live from Washington, this is CCTV News.
Welcome to CCTV America. I'm Mike Walter. Thomas Eric Duncan, the first patient ever diagnosed in the U.S. with Ebola, has died, and there may be another new case in the U.S. state of Texas. The patient is a law enforcement officer who says he was in Duncan's apartment. These are the latest in a string of new developments, which include new Ebola screening procedures at U.S. airports. For more, let's go live to CCTV's Jessica Stone at Washington Dulles International Airport. Jessica, before we get to the changes at the airport, what do we know about Duncan's death and this new possible case?
Well, we knew he had taken a definite turn for the worse over the weekend when on Saturday he was declared in critical, downgraded from serious condition. That means he was on life support, receiving fluids, and in some cases having machines do the work of the organs in his body as they continue to fail from the Ebola disease. We also know that his partner, Louise Troh, continues to be in isolation, and she has now released a statement from the family's perspective. She says, quote, "His suffering is over. My family is in deep sadness and grief. Our deepest sympathies go out to his father and family in Liberia, and here in America, Eric was a wonderful man who showed compassion toward all." Now, when it comes to this new possible Ebola case in the state of Texas, we know again that that was a law enforcement officer, in fact, a Dallas County Sheriff's deputy who went into the apartment, presumably as part of the public safety effort to contain Ebola in that apartment. He went to an urgent care center earlier today presenting with Ebola-like symptoms. He has now been admitted to the same hospital where Thomas Eric Duncan was treated and ultimately died.
Jessica, what about screenings at the airport? Can you tell us which airports will be impacted and what they'll be doing?
Well, we're here at Washington Dulles Airport. That is one of 5 airports that will be impacted. They include New York City's JFK International, which on Saturday will begin additional screening levels. The other 4 airports, Newark Liberty, the airports in Atlanta, Chicago, and here at Washington Dulles, will all begin additional screening measures next week. And what they'll look like is basically anyone from Guinea, Sierra Leone, or Liberia, the 3 countries where Ebola has been killing thousands of people. When they come to an airport like this, they will be taken aside by customs agents. They will be questioned, and they will have their temperature taken by a non-contact thermometer. Upon finding out whether they have a fever, there will be a second set of questions from CDC, or Centers for Disease Control personnel, and ultimately they could be quarantined at one of these 5 airports if they present with symptoms. Those who are not presenting with symptoms will be sent home with information on how to self-monitor. Here's the latest from the Centers for Disease Control head physician, Dr. Thomas Frieden, earlier today.
We're stepping up our efforts to protect Americans, that we will always look at what works, we'll continuously evaluate it, and consider what more we can do to keep Americans safe, understanding that as long as Ebola is spreading in Africa, it will remain a risk here. We will do everything we can both to stop it at the source and to protect Americans.
So the main point of Dr. Frieden all along this afternoon in his remarks to reporters is that you cannot eliminate Ebola from any other country outside of West Africa if you do not eliminate the outbreak there. So he's very keen on making sure we understand in the United States and others that we can't just close down airports. You can't just implement these screening procedures. The key lies in treating those and eliminating the outbreak in West Africa and containing it from spreading. Now, I should just note that in terms of the efforts, we just heard from Jim Kim, the president of the World Bank. He called the efforts to contain Ebola a miserable failure when speaking to the Guardian newspaper, and he has gone on to ask for $20 billion to create a new health fund to help contain this disease. Mike?
Jessica Stone live at the Dulles International Airport just outside Washington, D.C.